Hey everyone, it's Trader Rob. Today is Sunday, January 11th, and I wanted to give you guys an updated video with some new weekly bands, some new tradable levels on the NQ and the ES. Show you guys how the levels performed over the last week, and um, and how the weekly bands obviously performed as well. In general, last week was just a fantastic week of trading for me. As I've mentioned a few times, if you guys haven't watched, I live stream each morning right at the market open. We go till about 10 a.m. Central Time. And just been seeing the market extremely clear. Volume is playing out just like the way that how I always see the market. December was a little bit on the tougher side, definitely on the tougher side. And a few things that I think kind of contributed to that. One, the contract rollover, I think, was a kind of a big part too. We had two kind of intermixes of volume that was kind of blended together there for a couple of weeks. Did some adjustments by adding my daily volume profile to complement my larger time frame, which is about the 45-day volume composite profile. So I had them both up on my screen and started to see um, March's contract a lot more clear. And then now I've been able just to switch back to just the 45-day volume composite profile, which if you guys have been watching the streams, the setups have just been absolutely on fire. And recently started trading gold again, scalping it. Do have a mechanical strategy in gold that I've been trading for the last 2.5 years, but the just the way that gold's been moving, it's reacting extremely well to the volume clusters. I think I probably put out 5 or 6 setups, maybe 2 signals, and about 3 or 4 setups that I was looking at, and was able to capitalize pretty nicely on a few pretty big trades there. So that was fun. So with that being said, let's get into the intro. Let's get into the new weekly bands and tradable levels, and let's map out the markets for this week. As always, nothing that I state on my channel is financial advice. Trading futures or any type of trading is risky business. Any capital that is put out there is at risk for loss. All right, so with that being said, let's jump into the ES. So my last video, which was last Sunday, came out. That was on the 4th of January. So price action would have been starting off right around here. Gave you guys a level at the 69.33. Did not get respected here on its first tap in. This was right at the 8:15, 8:30, right at the market open. Market obviously had a pretty strong catalyst to the upside on that morning. But the interesting thing is, so this first level here did not react extremely well. But look what happened once the market kind of settled down. We came right back, tapped right into the 69.33, and we were off like an absolute spaceship from there. Now, again, yes, I understand that the initial touch here was not the greatest. Um, but you can almost see here on this is a 15-minute candles here. The next candle came right back in and tapped into that volume cluster that I was looking at the 69.33 for a really nice move here to the upside. And that was pretty much the only level that price action. Well, we came almost tapped right back into that level again, and still maybe a couple points off there, and still reacted very, very nicely to that move to the upside here. So with that being said, let's delete this level at the 69.33, and let's update our weekly bands here. We've got a new band that we've got. Let me clone this guy. Let's move him up. And let's make an adjustment to this new weekly band here, which is now going to sit at the 69.90 to the, let's get one more space in there, 69.55. So again, 69.90 to the 69.55. Okay, so that is going to be our new weekly band sitting right below where price action is currently at. Now remember, weekly bands, extremely powerful, very, very difficult to get through. For those of you that have been watching these videos now for over the last year, you understand the power of these weekly bands. Typically, it takes three things for them to break through. One is going to be headline news, a high impact headline that might come out, or multiple retaps into that same zone will eventually break any zone. But it's that initial tap in that is typically going to be your absolute strongest powerhouse wall. Now, with this weekly band that we have down here, 68.60 to 68.14, just an absolute shit ton of volume, unbalanced volume that is still sitting right here. But there is a cluster that is sitting right above here. Okay, it's about a 6-point difference from the bottom of here to the next bottom of the previous weekly band. So what I'm going to do is, since they're so close, I'm going to actually combine these bands. I know it's going to be a pretty big zone, but this is going to be a very, very, very high impact zone that we're going to be looking at here. So this zone now is going to sit at the 68.98, and let me just change this here, 68.98. Okay, so now we've just kind of combined. Yes, there was about a 6-point buffer in between, but this is now really incorporating this next really big powerhouse area that the market is going to have an absolute very difficult time to get through. You're going to see multiple reactions out of this new weekly band here that's sitting again from the 68.98 to the 68.14. And I say it every Sunday. If you'd like to be emailed a report every single Sunday with all of the weekly bands, everything that we've got listed on here, all of the tradable levels, if you just go to my website, which is robstrades.com, just put your name and your email in there, and you'll receive that report every single Sunday. There's over 2,000 people that have subscribed to that email. And I know, just based on the comments and the replies that I get, it's helping out a lot of traders. As far as some new tradable levels, so let's start with one here. Let me get this guy to default. And our new tradable level is going to, tradable level is going to be at the 69.64, 69.64. So right under where price action is currently at, sitting in this weekly band as well. We all know how powerful that is. I'm going to give you guys the same disclosure that I give you guys every single Sunday. Today at the Sunday Open, which it's 5 p.m. for me, Central Time. You just got to be extremely careful to see how the market gaps up, okay? Because what I don't want to avoid is we get a gap, we open up like right here, and then we get a strong move to the downside, okay? That's not the trade that that I'm looking for. So what I would be okay with is if we get a strong move to the upside and then we retest the 69.64, then I would be looking for a short off of the 69.64. But if we get a move that looks like this, where we gap up and then we come back down, yes, that's when I'm looking for a move to the fading this to the upside, okay? And that's pretty much the same on the ES, the NQ, any level that I give you guys on Sunday. Just be very careful with the Sunday Open. The next tradable level is going to be sitting at right below this guy at the 69.11. And I'll give you guys some trade examples from some signals that we took with my signal group this last week here in a few minutes once we're done with the levels. 69.11. Okay, so that is your next tradable level. So we've got the 69.64, we've got the 69.11, the 68.77, and the 68.49, the 68.33. So multiple levels now in this newer, bigger weekly band that's sitting right here. And then these two right here. So now let's jump into the NQ, and let's just take a look at price action from the 4th. All right. So my video would have come out right around here. So this is Sunday, January 4th, prior to or after even the market open. So as you guys can see, I gave you guys a level at the 25,572. We got a very nice reaction to the downside, which was good for where's my ruler tool? Here we go. 50 points. Nice 50-point mover there. Give you guys a bunch of examples on how to exactly trade these in my volume masterclass course that I just put out. Just a very easy strategy to trade these. And gave you guys another level here at the 25,722. Again, very strong opening market. This was pretty much the same move as the ES, where right at the market open, market had a very, very strong time and was able to break through this level. And as you can see, it did get to about 3/4 of our weekly band, came back, rejected out, but just a lot of buying pressure here, and we finally did break through this weekly band here. And there was a lot of news that also had come out during that time. But then again, you can see how the market reacts to these areas. So these are the impulsive ones. These are where high impact news comes out, market open. Those are going to be your tougher ones. That's why I sit those out. And, you kind of have to let price action kind of rest here a little bit. But as you can see, we come right back in, tap right into that 25,722, and we're off to the races. Now, we did have a level at the 25,874. As you can see, we tapped right into that area at about 8:45 to 9 a.m. on the 7th. And let's see what kind of reaction we got there. 61 points. Very nice. It's extremely nice level here at the 25,874. So again, that kind of gives you an example of how powerful the weekly levels are here. So I will delete these. These have already done their job. Oops. And now let's make some adjustments to the weekly bands. So this guy, let's see if I can, yeah, think I could start with this guy by itself. So this one I'm going to bring down to the 25,450 to the 25,361. Again, to 25,450 down to the 25,361. Okay, so that's where the new weekly band on the NQ is going to be sitting at. Again, it's going to be an area where it's going to be very difficult for the market to get through. Very tradable, guys. Very, very tradable. And this band, I'm going to make an adjustment to the downside. It's going to be now at the 25,711 down to the 25,613. Again, the 25,711 to the 25,613. There you go. So that's going to be your new, let's get to where price action is currently at right here. This is going to be your new weekly band sitting on top of this band right here. Okay, and below where price action is currently at. As far as some new tradable levels, let's start off with this guy. This one is going to be sitting at the 25,908. I think this one's really close to where price action is currently at. 25,908. Prime example here of what I'm talking about at the Sunday Open. This is a very powerful level, but at the same time, what I just explained to you, we might gap down here, okay, and then make a move back to the upside where I would look to make this type of a move, okay. You want to be very careful with this level at the open. Please take my advice on this scenario. It's not financial advice, but just I've seen this happen many times. Now, if the market gaps to the upside, then yes, then when we come back down here, that's what we're looking for on that type of a move right there. Let's put in our next level, which is going to sit at the 25,802. 25,802. And our third and last level is going to be at the 25,645. Now these are all scalpable, tradable levels. 645, right, right here. So this one's also sitting in the weekly band. Super powerful. I keep repeating myself, guys, but trust me, this shit works. All right, so now let's now that you've got the weekly bands and areas for the NQ and the ES, and starting from next Sunday, we'll be adding gold onto here. I have been mapping out my levels each and every morning on the ES, the NQ for about the last year and a half. I give that free of charge on my Discord. It's free to join. Descriptions below. It's probably the single most strongest resource that I provide to my members. It is a built-in trading strategy just based off of my 5 and my 15-minute levels. In fact, that's pretty much the core bedrock of my strategy that I trade every single morning live stream, where you find those areas of really high reactionary points. So if you want that in gold, ES, and the NQ, they're all on Discord. Now let's pull up my new signal service here. This was 3 days ago, so I think this was is this Thursday here? Yeah, I think this was Thursday. Gave a signal on the ES, TP1 and TP2. Both hit. Really nice reaction right off of that signal that I gave to my signal members. The day prior to that, this was a trade in gold. TP1 and TP2, very little drawdown, just an extremely big trade here in gold. And here was another trade on the 7th on the ES. This one also went, oh no, I believe this one went just for TP1. Took this one, I believe, on stream. This one only had the muster for TP1 on this trade particular. Let's see. The 6th, trade on the NASDAQ here. Sorry, I know it's a little small, but this one almost came about 3 points away from TP2. So we just got TP1 on this one, took that trade. That was a nice one. What else we got here? And then this one, TP1, TP2, really nice trade as well. I'm sorry, this one was in gold. This is a gold trade, sorry. TP1 and TP2 in gold at the 44.98.6. Gave that as a signal as well. So overall, just a really nice, I think I've got about 5 or 6 winners here in a row on the signal service, which is great because, again, I've been just noticing that the markets have started to react extremely well to how I see the market. And like every strategy, you're going to have a few weeks where things get a little bit difficult. But the nice thing is that during that difficult period, if you guys have been watching me trade live on stream, I'm able to adapt really quickly. I actually spotted the change in the market in that last week in November. Kept stating it in my live streams, kept stating it on all of the videos that I post here with my Sunday weekly levels, that was a very strange week. And I know it's a shortened week. We got Black Friday. You've got, obviously, Thanksgiving. And then going into December, we had the contract rollover. I think it was like in the first or second week of December. So the market did get difficult, and I kept stating it, and I reacted to it because if you guys have noticed on my live stream, I positioned down. I went down on my position size. So I always, for the last, I don't know how many years, I've been always trading the E-mini. So typically on the ES and the NQ, it's always one E-mini, which is what I trade on my live cash accounts. And finally, when I was starting to see that the market was reacting a little strangely, it was just wasn't respecting the previous levels of volume that I had seen in December's contract. And we kind of had a hybrid there of intermixture of volume from March and December. And I told everyone I'm positioning myself down. So I went down to the 4 and 5 micro, so about half my position size, to cover my downside. And then obviously now, over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've changed my tune. And I said, you know what, now I'm starting to see the market extremely well, how I see the market. And And that is the kind of confidence that you get into your system. You get to spot things that just say, that's strange. That didn't react there like how the market would normally react there, without any external influences like headline news, high impact news, things like that. That's not what I'm talking about. Just regular market movement just seemed very strange to me. And that has kind of reversed and is looking very favorable for the way that I trade, and I'm super happy about that. So again, if you haven't watched me trade live on YouTube, I'm there every single morning at 8:30. I highly encourage you, if you are interested in joining this new signal service portal, which is pretty freaking fantastic. There's a link for that down below, and my new volume masterclass that I released on January 1st been extremely well received. I highly appreciate all of the kind words that I've gotten from the members that have gone through that course. And guys, it's my A to Z strategy, A to Z strategy on how I trade the markets using volume, and what I teach in there cross trades between every single instrument, any equity that you're looking at, crypto, the futures market. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as there's liquidity in there, that strategy will work for you. So with that, wish you guys the absolute best trading this week, and happy trading. Take care.